Hello.
Welcome to
Hello.
Postscripted. Love is Unscripted. A Love is Blind rewatch podcast. My name is Josh. Joined as
My
ever
name
by
is-
my illustrious co-hosts.
Hi, I'm Mike. Hello.
My name is Ray, and I want to make very clear this is not specifically a Love is Blind podcast. This is a subcategory, which we put the coda on today.
Sound
coming.
off in the email if you would like to change that. Any discussion or significant amount of ongoing Patreon contribution, something
we-
we really have. But look, that could change the tide on. some of these
here's the
things,
thing,
you
Ray.
know?
The best part about a coda is that it implies we at least ran it back once, if not multiple times. There was a repeat in there somewhere.
Yeah. Let me make this clear. I can absolutely be bought off. 100%.
I could be sold.
I will. I am corrupt.
100.
I am corruptible.
I know I talked
I'll
about
rewatch
this,
pod anything if you subscribe. If we one make a Patreon and two you subscribe and
I talked about
demand.
this 2 years ago, and it's still one of my bigger regrets with the pod cast. And it's that I didn't do the rights for LLCing it, and I didn't take advantage of one of the apparently free PPE loans. Which
Oh,
could've
we
gotten
should have
us
done
some
that,
sweet
man.
Money. Yeah,
I
that's one of those regrets that keeps me.
we
up at
should have
night.
done that.
You know what,
Yeah.
though? We should probably just get the LLC anyway, because you know what? You never know when the next global crisis is going to happen, given the leadership that we have. So, who knows?
We cannot get into this. We cannot.
Here, cut this so nobody incorporates our business before us.
Just look. We live in the smash and grab era of America, right? Why shouldn't we smash and grab our piece while Diet Coke is still street legal before the nanny state?
So sometimes I
takes
do.
my-
I have said this many times to you guys and to any of my friends. I feel like I have way too many morals and ethics, and that's why I still have a mortgage. You have no idea how close I was to doing a rug pull NFT because I had the friends, I had the connections. All we need to do is go through it, and I stopped and I thought, I'm not gonna screw someone over like that. I have to sleep at night. I'm gonna stop it.
Look. Here's what we should have done: is get the PPP loan. Put me as the head person on it because I'm a white person, so they're definitely not going to audit me. And then we're free. It's free money.
Straight up.
They wouldn't have audited any of it. Anyways, taking free government money aside.
Speaking
just a
of
great American
speaking of
pastime.
audits, we're
What?
here for the Love is Blind season 6 reunion episode where we get to audit the love that has blossomed this season and the relationships therein,
Love audit.
and kind of check in and see where people are, and we get to say hi to some familiar faces and some folks who have gone through the experience, both some who did it successfully and some who did not, and we get to see some of our favorite moments. We get to see some cutting room floor scenes, stuff.
Floor,
Yeah, some interactions that had happened made things that occurred in the show even more diabolical, Sarah Ann.
Oh.
More diabolical. Okay.
Going into this that Jeremy and Sarah Ann are public enemy number one, and this did not disappoint as far as
The best part for me is that we have Jeremy out there in a Hawaiian shirt, obviously there to piss Laura off, and Sarah Ann is not there next to him. But we've got Nick and Vanessa talking to him, hey bud, what's up? Well, first off,
I love how Nick and Vanessa drop in, and I'm like, am I supposed to remember who you are? Because we don't see them ever.
Yeah.
This is my complaint with there's another show, Ray, that Netflix does called The Circle, which is a social media competition. It's got some fun things. I don't know. I think it's okay.
Okay.
but you never see, like, you hear the host, but you never see them. And I'm like, and then when they show up again, I'm like, who are you again? It's like, I need to see these people more often.
And that's one thing that like the Bachelor, Bachelorette, Bachelor in
Right,
Paradise does a
exactly.
lot better. Is that before, when it was Chris and now whoever it is, like they're interacting all the time, even if it is coming in for a, like, at the rose ceremony. My favorite thing that he does, he'll go, Vanessa, gentlemen, this is the final rose of the evening. And he comes in,
Right.
he says that, and he walks away, but he's in every episode interacting with them, talking to them. He's stirring the pot. I would make
It's
a
like
great...
Jeff Probst doing like the Survivor stuff. Maybe
Yeah.
it's like a legacy broadcasting thing. Is this a Netflix doesn't have the juice?
I mean,
Discussion.
attempted
Is that
to
what this
watch
is?
a
It might
boxing
be.
match last night. I could definitely say Netflix does not have the juice for anything.
That, or they can't... Yeah, I think it's partly that, and that, like, Nick and Vanessa don't want to live in fucking, North Carolina for 3 weeks
Dog,
to check in on these
can't
people.
blame them.
Have you been to North Carolina? It's kind of mid. It's okay. It's kind of mid though.
The beaches there on the Outer Banks are
everywhere is
amazing,
Asheville now, okay?
but
the entire world is Asheville. Shut up.
What?
You have a taco place? Oh wow, that's pretty crazy. Oh, there's cocktails? Ooh, okay. Oh, there's a music scene? Okay. Wow.
This is some odd hater energy coming from.
Oh,
The
you
best
had
part
a
about it is that
a
it's
hipster
true.
bar where you had, like, aired your best friend's dirty laundry about how you slept together and you're both embarrassed about it because you're in love with each other. Wow, I have that too. I have one of those at home.
Goodness.
Just say.
Let's get into it.
Fucking Jimmy. Oh,
You need to know this, Josh. So from time to time, me and my wife will like hire a babysitter and just go on a date. And we talked about your weird like hate boner that you have for Jimmy. And when I described Jimmy, and it's like, yeah, but Jimmy sounds great. Why does Josh hate him so much? And that's why I said, I don't know. Seems like
okay,
a
if
guy.
you describe Jimmy as like a guy who rescued a family from like a burning building, yeah, of course they're
yeah, but if you describe him as he actually is, a guy who has no defining characteristics, no personality, no interest, has the emotional intelligence of a stunted child who cannot read the room to save his life, who he just gaslights people over and over again, he doesn't really sound that amazing.
Just
He
to
sounds
set
like
my watch timer to how much haterade Josh is spewing from his nose
so
like
much.
a faucet. I have a couple notes from the reunion. Not many. Honestly, shockingly, not many notes from the reunion. The one note I have for Sarah Ann, when she apparently appeared later on, and was she like made this recording, I guess, on social media of some sort. And she said, yeah, this is all for entertainment. We came here to entertain. And I guess
red flag. No, you can't.
The hosts of the show got like upset about that when they're like, we don't want people come here to be motivated by fame. And my one note I have for that is, fuck off. Because they do. Yeah, they do.
But it's like it's like the it's like, yes, it is constructed and like it produced reality.
Yep.
But it's like you can't have Stone Cold Steve Austin call wrestling fake. You know what I mean? So you can't say that. Like,
Yeah,
because
like
that's
breaking,
like that.
I get the whole break the kayfabe type of thing, but what the show did is they just went to her social media, found a recording of her, not to the cameras, but just her to, like, I guess her followers saying, I'm breaking the kayfabe. And I guess the hosts are like, how dare you, like, wagging a finger. And it's like, shut up.
Well, we're living in
guys.
Sarah Ann's world now, so maybe we should all shut the fuck up. How about that?
Our social conservative Sarah Ann over here, just marching by a beat of her own drum, with maybe one arm in the air. Who's to say? But just
I'm gonna have to retruth some of her posts.
Yeah, I do think that there's like Mike said, like you are coming into this experiment and you are trying.
Stop calling it an experiment? It's on season 6. This isn't an experiment. Shut the fuck up.
Still an experiment.
No, it's not. It's
hey,
entertainment. Leave it alone.
experiments are repeatable, and you
How
need
dare
multiple
you.
outcomes. I mean, that's why we have a lovely smattering of people from various seasons to see if the experiment is successful. Like, it's just it is what it is. But
Yeah, sure.
again,
right.
you do have to come in with a certain expectation of like, I am gonna try and like be earnest about this, but I also have to know that like, yes, I am being recorded for entertainment purposes, and like things that I say are gonna be edited in certain ways to fit a narrative of a producer. Like, both are true. I think to just be like, this is purely entertainment and blah blah blah, but also like I'm living with and having sex with a person that I met in this experiment, and like we're talking about marriage. It's like, okay, but you're being a little you're being disingenuous a little bit. You're literally just you are trying. What it boils down into is she's trying not to be the bad guy in saying that the drama between her and Laura is manufactured just to make it good television. But like, Laura is legitimately hurt by what happened. Like, her feelings
for that at the end. I'll save that for the end though.
But what I'm saying is like, this isn't Sarah Ann trying to like be like, haha, this is just a show, like we're all fine. It's her trying to like find any reason to make herself not the bad guy in this situation. Because especially when they show here, after they talk for a few minutes, they like cut to a scene from the lake house that we didn't get to see during the show of her and Laura talking, and her like apologizing to her, and like her saying this wasn't my intention 10 minutes before she rides off into the sunset with fucking Jeremy. And it's like, no, you're just a bad person. And you know what? Sometimes we have to sit in those feelings.
Even at that point, Laura is still explaining her concerns with Jeremy to Sarah.
Yep.
When Laura does not owe her the time of day, she's still like, hey, here's the vibe with Jeremy.
And it's like,
go for it, I guess.
But I know that like you're part of the problem with Jeremy, but also like outside of that, like beyond his behavior with you, there are things that would make me think that he would do this again. Like, I don't know, having a fiance and selling his house that he really wasn't like that upfront with, or downplaying to a certain extent. And it's like, again,
somebody had a spouse prior to the show that was not announced or revealed. Interesting.
Weird.
Put a pin in that.
Nah, I want to talk about that. I have so many notes about that.
We'll get there.
That's my favorite.
It's one, like, yes, you don't want to break the kayfabe, but again, she's not doing it to like be like, haha, it's all silly. Like, no, she's just trying to make herself feel better about watching the show and realizing how terrible she was, and like, oh, Laura's feelings aren't real because we're all just actors on a show. Like, no, you were a bad person.
I think you're giving her way more credit. I think you're giving a lot of people way more credit than they probably do.
Just because it's...
What if they're just dumb?
But just because... Okay.
Yeah.
Being ignorant is not an excuse. Like,
yes, it is.
No,
She's
it's not.
An idiot, and the producers
it absolutely does. I'm sorry. Go in front of a judge and be like, "Sorry, Your Honor, I was too stupid to know I was breaking the law." They're like, "Motherfucker, I don't give a shit. If anything, you're getting double jail time. Like, you're getting jail time for being dumb and for breaking the law. Breaking the law while dumb is a double jail." So
double jail.
A double jail.
I don't care if she's being dumb. Like, still at some point, like, a basilar part of her fucking lizard brain is like in self-preservation mode, so she'll just say anything to make herself feel better. She may not know that's what she's doing, but that's what she's doing, and she sucks.
I think she just sucks, like, period.
Yeah.
So much body glitter too. It's like, girl, cool it down, okay? We don't need the so much body glitter.
If we can move on to the next point I have.
I want to hit real quick. Just because I don't think we're probably gonna have a ton to say about our king and queen of this season, Amy and Johnny. They got the J.C. Penney photo shoot.
That was incredible.
Like, come on. Like, they're both. He's so handsome. She's so gorgeous. Like, truly, Amy and Johnny deserve all the world for being in the proximity of everybody else on this show. and I wish them the very best because they're great.
Yeah.
Not much to discuss other than yay.
Good for them.
Amy
They're
and
traveling.
Johnny.
They're having a great time.
Check them out.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Props to
did
them.
love it. This the reunion made me also like, not that I didn't already love Jess a lot, but like, boy howdy,
my God.
does Jess show
Oh my
up to
God.
defend her
Bangers.
ladies in this episode, where she's just like, listen, just admit you were being shitty. It's okay to be shitty, but like, I'm not gonna let you sit here.
Jessica called Sarah pick me. It's like, yes,
Yeah.
girl, fucking like, thank you. Finally.
100%. And then our sweet boy Trevor, our little meathead,
Oh, this broke my heart.
rolls
this
up
is
onto
so
the
bad.
show in just I cannot, like, his outfit gives me Amish vibes. Like, he walks up like an Amish boy, just ready to go make some
He's like
cabinets.
going to Young Life. He's going to Young Life. That's what he's doing.
Also, what
For those of you listening to the audio version, you're not seeing me dancing around because 2 months ago when I watched this episode, I was sending my old notes to Mike and Josh. Some of them include like, Trevor's a fuckboy. I don't trust him. And then another note says, man, of all the people I think I would have a beer with on this show, Trevor's not it. He's giving me bad vibes. I really don't trust this guy. And then
so we have like some sort of Trevor reveal countdown,
What's
which
that?
is insane. Because they have some like Trevor countdown, or
Do
like
they?
I have a note that says Trevor countdown to reveal ? So I think they tease
yeah.
in the beginning that there's some kind of Trevor reveal.
At some point, I'm gonna post this in the Discord, and I need you to like put it in the show notes or something. But like, what is going on with the lines on Trevor's beard and like it? He has hair.
Send it in the Discord real quick.
It's just like there's something going on, and it's making me uncomfortable, and I can't quite describe it here.
I just want to see what you're talking about.
It just the hair up on his cheek is too high, and it like is lined with the top of his mustache.
Whoa.
Like, his I don't know. I hope a barber didn't do that to him, because if they did him so dirty.
Why you gotta put him on blast like that?
I'm
We're
sorry.
about to put him on blast
He
already.
went to a white barber and he said line him up, and he said got you, buddy.
Gotcha, Buster.
He had the rustiest razor
Oh my
this
God.
side of the Mississippi. I honestly don't know what's going on there. Yeah. That's fun though.
I might have
That
to
is-
just insert that in, like, a brief frame of that in the video podcast, just so everybody can see. Because
That's
boy,
like the first. That's like the first
I didn't even
bowl
notice
beard that I think has ever existed.
yeah.
That's what that is.
What'd you
What
call
the
it?
A bowl beard, like a bowl cut,
Oh,
Yep.
oh,
but like
yeah,
a bowl.
I
don't
do-
know where the bowl goes.
Yep.
But,
I do love.
what the fuck?
I do love that Trevor sits down and he's like saying hi, and Vanessa's like, "We're getting right into it, buddy." Just like, all right, so Trevor, explain yourself.
And then it is revealed almost instantly that he has been engaged to someone this entire time. All that game he was spitting to Chelsea. All that game he was spitting to everyone else. You know how we just said, Sarah said, this is entertainment. We came to entertain. Yeah, she's not the only one that thinks that. He came up there for fame too. It's a thing. That's why I said this. We should stop calling this an experiment. People know what's going on.
I have a note here that's like Chelsea's like, oh, this is why I knew I shouldn't have picked you. Like, oh, okay,
No.
Chelsea,
Yeah, well,
sure,
no.
nice try.
Chelsea,
Fraud watch, come
Chelsea,
on.
have you
You're
started
not fool-
talking to a professional?
You're not fooling
Get that out of the
anybody.
way. With respect. And yeah, he's just like, for someone that's easily 310 pounds, if he's announced, he is like effing scared and terrified. He starts crying.
This is the craziest part, because that, as far as like, I'm not an expert on this stuff, right? Despite speaking into a microphone about it, which in some manner makes me an expert. reunion shows, because there's like contentious stuff brought up all the time at the reunion show. That's the whole point of these things, right?
Mhm.
And it's there to like start fights. Like it's there to produce the kind of like Laura, Jeremy, Sarah, Jessica, like the like sniping. Like that's because that's good TV. But like Trevor is just he's shook
Mhm.
in a way that is, I mean, it's like it's the kind of thing. It's like if I'm Trevor,
Mhm.
I don't know how you walk into this. No, like he seemed like it's not something he had an answer for at all, or didn't expect them to talk about, didn't know that they knew. And I just like, how do you not know that they're gonna know this stuff?
Yeah,
Especially if it's out there. Just like so, it was a crazy moment, just because like I know Ray, you talked about like breaking the kayfabe.
Mhm.
This is one of those things where he's just like he turns into real like Trevor the real person.
Yeah.
And it's just like I just have
Well,
to go. He just goes.
the
He
problem
leaves. Yeah.
the
Crazy.
problem
Like,
with
it's
this
not
too is like
Yeah.
the people like Trevor who don't have a massive social media presence beforehand and don't even really have like I mean they have one after, but like there's only so much vetting that the producers can do, and like if somebody comes in with ill intentions and does hide some stuff, like, you know, it does give them an opportunity once the fame starts to come, you know, even if it is for 10 seconds, like things come to light. And I do think that Trevor he definitely came in with the intention of like, I'm going to find a new person, and when I leave here, my backup plan, I'm going to dump her. And then he got dumped, and he was like, well, I did my last shot to get out of this hellhole situation I've dug myself in and can't seem to get out of and keep coming back to, and this was my last shot, so I'm just gonna, KFC double down and say I'm all in, baby. Like,
I kind of respect the fact. Well, respect, and actually, there's no respect I have from anyone on the show except for, I guess, like Jimmy and Amy. I get not Jimmy and Amy.
Johnny and Amy.
Johnny.
Yeah.
I was like,
Everyone else, I'm like, hey, you all suck for like a variety of different reasons. These are like the only...
Laura Stan, Jessica Stan, we don't stand for this. What's your home address? I'm gonna find it on
100%.
Microsoft Flight Simulator and Crasher Plane.
And like,
Do
honestly,
it.
honestly,
I'll join you.
You know what? I don't love Brittany's like religious vibe, but like I do appreciate that she put the effort in and
oh
fucking
my God.
Kenneth just pulled the ejection seat when like the first like sort of semi-conflict happened. Like, dude like heard the radar lock on his jet and just said, "I'm out. I'm hit." It's just like, buddy, that was your friend. That was a friendly radar. He's like, "Nope, I'm going down."
I'm picturing in like Ace Combat 7 of like target lock, and the siren pinging in your ears,
Yep.
and as opposed to doing any maneuver, flares, dodge, high G turn, vertical stabilizer turn, he just like grabs the ejection seat lever and pulls
And
it
pulled
as hard
it
as he
and
can.
just said, "Nope, I'm done. I'm cooked. It's over." That's Kenneth.
Multi-million-dollar jet. It's
Yeah.
like, that's your problem.
Yeah.
Boom.
Brittany had some positive besides the ridiculous Jesus stuff. Like, she had some positive qualities. I liked her, but man, Kenneth has zero resiliency at all, and he do be loving that phone. Like,
I love how they were
phone.
like, I love how the only question he got was like, dude, what the fuck?
What?
Get off your phone. He's like, I love my phone.
Yep.
Crazy. Come on, dude.
And again, as somebody who's around teachers all the time, the one thing they all say is no teacher wants to hear from their fucking principal that much ever. Ever.
I love to be texting my 25-year-old boss.
I
Just love it.
I do have
Awesome.
2 notes for Kenneth on my notes, what little notes I have. One note says Kenneth is actually defending his phone usage, which I just actually cracked up.
You just gotta be like, you just
Yeah.
gotta let him behead you, man. You just gotta let him draw and quarter you.
Yep.
Don't do it. Just
Buddy,
you can't.
buddy, you can't watch that video and be like, No, that's an appropriate amount. That's an appropriate amount of phone.
My other note for Kenneth is Kenneth will never actually recover from this show.
No.
No one will watch this show and say like, "Yeah, you're a sane human being."
Yeah. The problem too is we'll get back to Trevor in a second, but like for me, watching it, I was like, man, there is still like some intense chemistry between these two. But again, Kenneth has the resilience of a wet Kleenex, and you just cannot have any sort of conflict at all. And again, just like
Right.
bailed out because phone is so much safer than like talking about your feelings with your partner, and like maybe every once in a while making her feel like, buddy, jump my bones, please. Like,
I'm gonna be that guy.
Turn the fucking lights on. Oh my.
I'm gonna be mean because I'm allowed to be mean, and I have no respect for pretty much 90+% of people on the show. I don't think Kenneth is a virgin by choice. I think he used the Bible thing as like, nah, I'm just waiting. Like, sure you are, buddy. Sure.
You know, never mind.
bro can't
not
get
gonna-
off phone long enough to get it up.
I'm not gonna.
I mean, that's possible.
You have to put the phone down to get it up, and he's just not willing to do that.
I think Kenneth is one of those people, not to really psychoanalyze, but I'm just going to be mean because I'm allowed to be mean.
We can bully Kenneth all you want. Like,
there's a list of people that are on Strike Team Bully on my list of notes here, and Kenneth is near the top because screw him. Not screw him as like a person, like screw him as the way he's being presented, but even the way he's being presented as both a human and as a character is like, I don't think there's anything like redeemable about you, my guy. Anyways, I think that he came onto the show Love is Blind because, much like a lot of these people on the show, if anyone actually sat down and went on a date with him, they never get to the second date because maybe he just sucks. And so he's like, okay, they can't actually see me as me. I need the barrier, and they need to just hear my voice. And don't get me wrong, Kenneth, I respect the deep baritone voice as a baritone voice haver myself. And you know what? As you see, it is good for picking up the opposite sex if they are interested in that. But the moment that he went to when they met and they went to a giant paradise island, he's like, yeah, and that didn't go as well as anyone hoped. And then they got into the home. He's like, oh, yeah, give me my iPhone 11. Oh, yeah, I got to follow up with my people. And it never ended. It never stopped. He probably dated Brittany longer than he's ever been on any other date just to the circumstances. That's my really bad psychoanalysis. And, of course, based on his age,
but
I
also,
think I'm 90% true.
But also, he was the one who ended things with her, too. And it's like, dude, she was ready to do the work. She was like ready.
No, she brought it up. She brought it up. And
she brought it up, but she's doing it as in like, hey, I love you and I need this from you. And like, this is something we talked about and I'm not seeing. And he's like, oh, okay, you deserve better. Deuces, I'm going to call my friend.
I'm baby. I can't do that.
I can't figure that out.
I do phone.
No,
Crazy.
That's one thing. I will counter you with it. Not like heavy counter because I don't care that much, being perfectly honest. I think him throwing in the towel that quickly was actually kind of mature. Because there was no saving it. Nothing. Why bother? You guys barely know each other. You're not going to be intimate before marriage, so it's going to, by the time you find out, he probably sucks in bed.
I think,
because he wants to check his Twitter.
Counterpoint. Again, he threw in the towel without putting in any effort. Zero. No, it's not. No, it's not.
If he doesn't have the personality and he doesn't have the wherewithal to stick with it, yeah, punch out. Fine. That's mature. That's why drag
No,
it
it's so baby brain. It's so
I think it's
baby brain.
Incredibly disrespectful. But
yeah. He's not
ready. I think there's like I think saying I want to get engaged to you belies a certain level of like a floor of effort that you have to meet. And the way he just kind of shuts down is just I just don't think you can, like, if you made, I mean, technically you can do that. I just think that sucks that he did
If
that.
this is the type of show where it's, as you guys told me, because I've never watched any episodes, if this is the type of show where it's extremely common to just dump people at the altar, then like fuck the seriousness of like asking someone to get married in this show. Like I can't take that seriously. If it's like so regular that people just say nah when they say, "Do you take this person to be your man or wife?" or something like that, that's insane to me.
That's the whole fucking point of the experiment of like.
Yeah, that's
Stop
the dark
calling it
evil
a
part.
it's not an experiment.
No.
That's what makes it good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Again,
then let's not talk about like,
makes it
oh,
good.
you asked her to be married. Like, shut the f up. Who cares? You know them for like
I
a couple
care.
weeks. You
Mhm.
never see them a couple. You never see their face. You never interact with them. The words "Will you marry me?" mean next to nothing on this show. That doesn't hold water for me.
I disagree.
You're wrong.
But we should probably
we
get
got
to some of our other.
have we closed the book on our sweet baby boy Trevor? Just our little
Just
perpetual fuck up here.
damn. Damn. That's
yeah.
all I gotta say for that. Just damn.
Yeah, he's probably with his ex-girlfriend still pressing that bracelet for Chelsea, just furiously hoping that she'll realize Jimmy don't have Riz and she'll take him back and he can dump that lady.
Well, it sounds like we're going to Jimmy Chelsea land. Jimmy Chelsea Jessica land here too. Lots of first of all, we have beard Jimmy. We have beard Jimmy, which I just am like, I don't really have a positive or negative thought on it. I just noted it. I'm like, okay, that's where we are. I get it.
Well, he wanted to
Jimmy,
finally have one defining characteristic, like something that kind of
Right.
almost stood out a little bit as like a
Apparently
feature.
he has a huge hog, Josh. This is to the woman that doesn't like it.
there were some things noted that I thought were interesting.
Okay.
Including that. Also, I love the diabolical camera work here when Jessica is talking about her daughter, and then the camera immediately pans to Jimmy to feel like, oh, you remember that fuck up that Jimmy did, and how this whole problem that we got ourselves into was Jimmy just being like, oh shit,
Well,
after
so,
that reveal.
This circle got closed when Jimmy and Chelsea obviously broke it off. Jimmy and Jessica went on dates, and they found out, yeah, we went on some dates, and we decided, it wasn't right for us.
Yeah.
Once again,
Good.
Josh, you may go ahead and say he doesn't have Riz, even though he actually went on dates with Jessica. And they.
But here's the thing: if he had Riz and he went on dates with Jessica, they'd have been together. But he done got the Riz. He doesn't.
Mature? What is going on here? What if they just?
Imagine fumbling Jessica. That's crazy.
Well, they just decided like they didn't get along. That's fine.
Yeah,
I thought
because
that's fine.
dude doesn't have any personality and he can't keep up with a baddie with a kid. Like,
can you imagine
he just
Jimmy doing like the Rizzler thing like that?
because he has a friend that he has feelings for and he doesn't know how to deal with that, so he's just gonna fumble around until they fuck again, and then they like finally decide to like, oh, maybe this is more than that, and we've been lying to each other and to everybody else for however long he's been there for, and that's where we're really at with Jimmy.
I think Jimmy, and I think overall, like the Jessica Jimmy stuff, I feel like, especially within the confines of like the reunion, it just feels a lot more mature than the Laura Jeremy, Sarah Ann stuff, which I appreciated. I thought that was just like nice. I think
I agree with that.
Jimmy is. I have a note here that Jimmy's mad about the viewer question that comes in, and I think if anybody regrets doing this overall the most, it might be Jimmy. Jimmy did not have a good time. Like, He didn't have a good
Oh,
time in
yeah.
the pods. He didn't have a good time on the island. He didn't have a good time in Charlotte. He never had a good time.
I pointed this out like I think it was in like episode 2 where we talked about like Jimmy's just seems like a guy that's in way over his head, like from my previous notes. And just seeing that part, because I think you're correct. The entire thing, like, dude, you're like the most leveled person here. I actually feel legitimately bad for you.
It really feels like if you have to rank like who regretted that they did this the most, I feel like Jimmy might be at the top.
Absolutely. Also, like Jessica said something I like so agreed with that it actually changed a little bit of my perception of like probably why her and Jimmy went on a date. Jessica said, and I quote, "I don't find enjoyment on watching people get dragged." I'm like, fuck yeah! Finally, someone says it.
Okay, well, we're all saints here, I guess. Fine, okay, Jessica. No, but
Right.
That's true. I agree.
That's a real thing. She's commenting on like, I don't like watching these people over here fight. I don't like some people that I consider now friends fighting. I don't like watching people on like however many millions watching getting their hearts broken. It feels bad and it feels weird. And I think if to your point, Mike, number 2 on that list of people that probably regret it they did this entire thing might actually be Jessica. Maybe it's a distant number 2. I'm not sure, but she didn't seem like she had a great time either.
As somebody who follows Jess on social media and has seen the influencing stuff that she's gotten into and like some of the, she's doing okay.
She's built a brand.
I think she did want to like legitimately come out of this experience with a significant other, but getting some good brand recognition has made the tough heartbreak worthwhile, I think, in some aspects.
Oh, but we're not here for entertainment.
Can we get Jessica?
We're not here to get famous.
Whoa. See, Ray, you do this where you're like, oh, no, both can be true. There can be a primary focus. There can be knock-on effects and things that come because of the experience.
We can have Amy Johnny, but also let's get Jessica the next, selling Charlotte. Let's get her real estate license.
Yeah, she did some like she did like this
show. Come on.
She did this like back to school like collection thing with her daughter, and like they had a good time, and they promoted like mommy, mother daughter, like it was really cute, and that's amazing. But also she was also kind of sort of a model anyway, so like she already had a career. It just
oh, you're following models on Instagram. Oh, okay.
Okay. Now.
I mean, you kind of blew yourself out of the water with that one.
I follow people I like from the show, both male and female.
Sam, 38 minutes. It's right here, folks. If you
don't get me started on the rabbit hole I fell down of the male contestants from the show who now have OnlyFans accounts of some variety from the series, not from this season particularly, but.
I could not imagine diving this deep into the.
This is something we may need to monitor closely. Yeah, interesting.
There's somebody out there with a really dumb face, but who also has an OnlyFans that somebody listening is going to really hate that it exists, but it does, and I'm sorry.
Ouch! Shout out to you. Well, folks, I don't know if you have any other closing thoughts on.
I do.
We did not talk about our PlayStation AD
how dare
day.
You?
Yes, that's what I was about to get to. I was just any closing thoughts on Jimmy or Chelsea?
Oh yeah, no. Jimmy, fucking legendary bag fumbler. Nobody has fumbled the bag harder than him. He needs to just date his friend already. And again, the situation in North Carolina must be so fucking dire. If he is like the pinnacle of man out there, Jimmy does not have his.
My closing thought was like, and I have this as a note. It just says Jimmy redemption arc. Sorry that this happened to you, guy.
I kind of am on Jimmy. Jimmy's been going through it this whole goddamn season, and you got to feel for him at a certain point,
he's just the guy of everyone on the show that he's like, hey man, with that deep North Carolina where it's, hey man, you want to go ahead, sit down, or South Carolina, whatever. And just like have a Miller Lite and just talk about stuff. And I'm like, you know what, Jimmy? Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go to your favorite spot. Let's have a Miller Lite.
Jimmy's on threads being like, "Whoa, they benched Bryce Young. That's crazy!"
He just wants to watch game, drink
that's
beer,
what he's
and eat a
doing.
burger. All right, he's just a guy. He's just a dude.
But
This,
you know,
this.
Over there, this is like Josh finding out Lex Luthor has much more kryptonite, and Josh is Superman. Like, I thought we got rid of all the kryptonite.
This like, oh, I feel bad for Jimmy. What are we even doing here?
Oh my god.
he's been going through it, man.
Yeah, and it's all his own fucking fault. Everything he's going through is his own fault. It is
I'm so happy.
Look,
so happy.
I go through stuff all the time. That's also
every
my fault. That doesn't mean I can't feel bad for myself.
Every problem that Jimmy experiences of Jimmy's own making, he did it all to himself. We're not feeling bad for the basic white dude for making his own problems and being sad about it. We're not doing it. It's 2024. We're done. We're done feeling bad for the basic white guy because he created problems and now he has to fucking sleep in the bed. We're not doing this.
I love it.
I'm doing it a little bit because I mean he really went through it. It's okay.
Listen,
Oh.
Jimmy, take
Oh my
you
God,
and
I feel
your
like I'm
giant,
getting crazy
massive
here.
hog. Go drink your beers at your bar.
Again, all he needs to do is just go tell his friend he loves her, and for her to admit, for her to either let him get out of the friend zone or break that friendship. That's what's holding Jimmy back the most, because one of them is keeping the other in the friend zone, and one of them loves the other, and they need to just be like dating or move on. That's the problem with Jimmy.
You know, that's not a bad idea. Jimmy, if you're listening,
Jimmy can have any woman that he wants, though.
Go home.
Clearly he can't because he keeps fucking dropping the bag because he
Everyone's screaming for that Jimmy.
Again, imagine fumbling Jessica. Like, how could you?
They went on a date.
They fumbled
decided
it.
like it's not working.
He didn't steal it. That's still fumbling, I think.
If you go on a date and it doesn't work out, your personalities don't match. I think that's
Why didn't
mature.
it work out? Because he fumbled it.
Because he
Oh my
fumbled it
gosh.
and his personality sucks. His personality doesn't match because it sucks.
Josh's anger gives me life. I actually.
All right, folks. Time
Let's go
to
Clay.
renew your PlayStation Plus subscription, everybody.
Oh no.
We gotta check in again. First of all, I think it's just fucking insane that they just have Clay and AD sitting next to each other. Can you imagine being AD? Just like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna sit next to Clay. That's
I got some words
insane.
for AD as well. I do.
Crazy.
I do want to get this note out of the way. Clay admitting, because I guess the what do you call this? The reunion show takes place like a year after.
Yeah.
Clay admitting that he has been in serious therapy for the past year. That's like, wait a minute, back the F up. That's true. That's actually really good. That's super, super good.
Yeah, I mean, he said he was going to do it, and he did it, and that's amazing. That is incredible. We love that.
Yeah. Clay saying that, AD, after a lot of therapy, if you ever want to try dating again, we can give this another shot. I cracked up.
Just like, God damn it. How dare you? Like,
I was cackling.
Buddy, if you'd have just said yes and then still gone to therapy, we'd be having a much different conversation. But you said no and was like, I'm not ready, and you shut her down, and like there was no hope at that point.
Like, again, good for Clay for realizing that he had a problem. But like Josh, you said, like, you are allowed to and definitely have to work on things after you get married too. That's a whole big part of it.
Yeah.
Because at a certain point, you're gonna have been married longer than you ever were dating, and then your life keeps going after that, and things are gonna come up, and that's something you just kind of have to be ready for.
And yeah, it's a work in progress, and like there is there is no like perfect time. There's always something wrong. There's always a reason not to.
Right.
And sometimes you just have to. And I will say, like, Clay in particular had some pretty particularly heavy baggage, and some concerns about like this is how I know men are in my life, like, and I don't want to do that, which is a good thing to recognize, but also sometimes it's just like, okay, so then don't do the thing. Like,
Yeah,
you're in control. Like,
all the men in my life hit potholes at 55 miles per hour in a school zone. Oh, okay, that's weird.
yeah,
I guess that's something everybody does.
yeah.
Wait, what? No.
Women, I don't, and maybe Clay's a little different because he's a suave dude, but like normally women aren't just like walking up to you with panties in hand being like, I'm ready to go, bud. Like, there are events that lead up to that, and it's just like, yeah, you just don't do it. If you don't want to be that guy, don't be that guy. It's it sounds simple and reductive, but sometimes it's just like, okay, so don't be that guy.
Listen, we can and should drag Clay if you want, as much as you want, and we should continue this. But BUT, AD contacted Matthew and went on several dates with him.
Hell yes, this is so good.
Matthew didn't even show up.
I love this.
So can we just say, like, hey, Clay, a lot is wrong with you. I respect the fact that you're actually talking to a professional. AD, what's your excuse? Because
AD loves.
This is the perfect coda to the whole show.
AD loves a project, and no matter the therapy, and no matter the like, oh, I'm not doing this anymore, baby girl loves a project, man.
She is a disaster human. She can't stop. She sees a problem, man, and she goes to it like a moth to the flame.
Did you guys see this lamp? This thing's pretty great.
this
thing's pretty cool.
Lamp,
this reminds me of the moon. Or
wow,
Matthew didn't even show up.
Okay.
The host showed that Matthew was saying the exact same thing to AD that he said to a completely different woman whose name I forget.
So good.
And I had this note up here that's like, hey, the line that Matthew is spitting to AD, the one that made her cry, like, hey man, that's all fake and false, and it was fake and false when Clay did it. But AD, it's just, I don't know how to put it. She's like a clay pigeon at the Olympics. She's gonna get shot. She's gonna get blasted.
There's like an audacity to it that is kind of fascinating. I'm like, I don't think I would do that if I was you, but I'm gonna give you points for giving this a shot, I guess. I respect it. I'm like, I don't know if I'd do that, but
yeah, and again it's
Clay,
like that.
Also, I gotta take one more shot at Clay here. Clay being like, hey, I'm going with therapy now, baby. What do you think? And just like, shut up. I was
like
played by the Clay Station before. Just like, you just have to know that, like,
he's like, hey, I'm still a mess, but I'm less of a mess, but more, I'm in the right amount of mess right now that we could, try this again.
It's like Clay just seemingly not grasping that there's like only so much cruelty you can inflict on somebody before, no matter what, that just is not somebody you're gonna have a relationship with in any meaningful way over again. Like,
yeah,
it's just like that's no.
I'm not 1,000% convinced that as we speak right now, there wasn't at least one more time where AD contacted Clay, and I mean AD contacted Clay. She seems the type. I'm not trying to hate on her. I'm saying she seems the type.
I think
she doesn't like slam the door shut.
No,
which is
but I do think she
concerning enough for me. Honestly.
She didn't slam it, but I do think she closed it and she latched it. Like, it was a soft latch, but she closed that door. And again, not to say a skilled locksmith couldn't come through and lockpick that, but like, I do think
the lockpick lawyers on standby.
Yeah. Yeah, she only did she didn't do the deadbolt. She just did the the twisty on the handle
thing too. The little
You see that meme where it's a deadbolt, but it's actually just like a spicy Cheeto as opposed to a metal lock. That's the AD Clay relationship door.
But Mike, I what you're saying is correct. Like, he, in his position, like, he thought he was doing the noble thing, but he did not realize that he had so fundamentally pushed her too far that there was no hope of any sort of reconciliation after that. Like, if he had broke up with her 6 hours earlier, they very well could be together right now. But it is he went and made the game time decision, and that fundamentally broke everything between them. And again, I think that if Clay had had the same conversation at a different context, at a different time, you know, before, while she was getting ready, the night before, I think that there could have been like a mending of the fences. But to do it there, to be like, I didn't know until I was talking what I was going to say, that fundamentally broke AD and broke what they could have had. Because I do think she was ready to do the work with him until that moment.
I agree with Mike. I think she just likes a project. Even if that project is like, I have a 1968 Mustang and it's missing the engine block.
But
and my project is running again.
I do think she likes a project, but if it was just as simple as that, she would have stayed with Clay, because that was a big project. Like, that is a huge project, and he's like, I want to be with you, but I want to work on this, and like, I want to work through some stuff, so I'm not like, you know, my dad. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that she doesn't love a project, but I think it goes a little beyond that, of like, she does have some self-awareness and some self-respect in terms of like, that really broke her, of like, I was not shown a base level of respect to like have this conversation. And so, you know, again, not saying that she doesn't have more work to do on herself or that she doesn't love a project, but I do think even for her, there is too big a project, or there is a bridge too far, where she's just like, no, I am out and this door is closed. It wasn't closed hard, but it was closed.
Once again, this is probably the first, possibly only, whole season of Love is Blind I've watched. Watching an actual, like, someone leaving them at the altar, I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
It's nasty. It's the only way to describe it. It's nasty work. Like, this is the kind of dichotomy of like the double-edged sword of the whole thing, because yes, it is like it's produced, but like, you see people in like real slices of life, you get their real stories, but on the other hand, you have the most contrived, fucked up, evil wedding ceremony you can think of at the same time, and you're just like, it's just, again, entirely designed to produce just absolute bile.
Yeah,
it's delicious to watch, because
if you guys get your jollies,
it's like
off of that,
it's like your chickens watching a rotisserie chicken cook, you know.
Well, I mean, no, this is the equivalent of like, you've given the chicken the option to like possibly live, but it's gonna be depending on if it gets beheaded or not. Right. Cooked is coming later.
So yeah. So Ray, having survived this experiment, which was
oh my God,
watching reality television break Ray, is Love is Blind. You know, this whole thing has been an experiment in and of itself, Ray. In case you were not aware.
Of course.
Is love blind, Ray? And is love blind?
So are you saying, like, is love blind as in, should you ever date someone without physically seeing them type of thing, and then trying to marry them? Is that the question being asked?
Interpret it as you will.
Okay. If you're asking me to interpret it as in, like, is love blind, as in, is this a proper way to ever attempt to meet another human being? I mean, the obvious answer is, like, no. Like, just bar none. Is this a question of, hey, is this like a show I would ever watch again for the, I don't know, the drama or something like that? I don't know. Probably probably not. Like, just like recently, I get Disney Plus with one of my credit cards, and whenever I have to feed my little boy, I'll turn on 2017's DuckTales. I get so much more entertainment watching that than I ever will from Love Is Blind because
Okay, valid. I see that.
it's animated, number one, and I love good animation. It tells a good story, and like much like what Jessica said, I'm not watching possibly another human being be emotionally hurt. I don't
Now,
get entertainment from that.
late confession here. I do also feel this way about reality television. Like I can do Love Is Blind because to me, Love Is Blind feels a little bit more like game showy.
Yeah.
90 Day Fiance feels a little bit too close to like people's lived human cruelty or like uncomfortable, not going great home situations, which are like something I
Yeah.
don't love for reasons.
Yeah.
You know, lore, so to
Mhm.
speak. I'm just
Mhm.
like, this is I'm good. You know, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch like a horror movie or something instead of this.
I know
You know?
sometimes when we pick like a not tech video game related podcast that we do, it's typically like if it comes from me, it's like a giant robot anime. But that's because if you like look behind me, I have a penchant for like liking giant robots, and also like, hey guys, no one's actually like emotionally getting hurt. If you want to say Hideki Anno got emotionally hurt making Evangelion,
Uh-huh.
let's
I was
have
gonna say,
that
I'm
conversation.
sorry. We watched Neon Genesis Evangelion. Like, a lot of people got emotionally hurt. Are you fucking kidding me? Get out of here with that.
No. But if we're talking about like, hey, there are, in the case of Love Is Blind, because I don't watch a lot of reality show. I think I told you guys at the very beginning. Yeah, at the very very first episode, like the very first one where we screwed up, and I watched season 1, episode 1, which is one of my favorite episodes.
Just
I've
before
actually, yeah.
all time kickoff to a great season
Just-
of
Great bonus episode of the pod.
I said like, hey, when it was revealed to me as like either a young man or a teenager, like, hey, on the Survivor show, yeah, they're eating fine, don't worry about it. And you see them like at like a picnic table, like having, it didn't look like Taco Bell, but it looked like Mexican food or Thai food. I'm like, oh, okay, all of this is fucking fake, and so I haven't like watched reality TV like ever since then.
Oh, so you're like a Survivor man versus like Bear Grylls. Like Bear Grylls does nothing for you, right?
Even some of the Bear Grylls episodes I found like a little entertainment, but I only watched them because like when I was a much younger man, my roommates were watching him, and so I'd like pop in and sit on the couch and watch it then. But it's not something I like sought out to answer that question.
Okay.
I guess I should say. But in the case of Love Is Blind, and I think I've said this a couple times, and I won't drag it out. Like I don't like the emotional suffering of people. Like life is hard enough. So watching people just like get their heart broke, or in the case of like being like psychologically tortured because they're with someone and they feel they should be with someone, and they're treating marriage as this like badge of honor as opposed to like something that you have to work towards. A lot of it to me was like, man, this isn't entertaining to me. I'm glad you guys are getting entertained by it, but yeah, like I said before, like
That's something that's hard for you to square to like really even like get into like the big kind of drama moments of the show. Like that's always like that is kind of too hard to like look past.
yeah,
For you, is that right?
I mean, I've told you guys before, working for many different companies, I've been on the other side of those cameras before. I know I could watch and see, like, yeah, that probably took like 3 cuts. Like, you can't convince me otherwise. The delivery was too good. That sentence structure was too good. I could tell the way you're moving your mouth. Someone told you to move your mouth that way. Yeah, the you didn't just naturally just say that. Stuff like that. So that's why I was talking about, like, there's so much of this is kayfabe, so much of this some of it feels real. And that's why I really, really felt like for Jimmy, because a lot of the scenes with Jimmy, I'm like, man, this is just a guy.
That's just a guy.
They really did drag a guy out here and they're just torturing him.
And you know what?
Yeah, we
Couldn't
forgot
have happened to
mention
a
that
more
every
deserving
season-
person. Couldn't have
Every
happened to a
season they,
more
like,
deserving dude.
They just drop a net over somebody in the metro area on the day of auditions and drag them into Love Is Blind. They're the Love is Blind contestants, so they go
Yeah.
into Love is Blind being blind to Love is Blind as far as like what it is. So they don't know that how blind they even are until they find out that if the question is if love is blind, and they're like, well, I'm already blind. I'm double blind.
I
So
feel like
I forgot to describe that's what Jimmy is for this show.
yes,
There's
Jimmy
one
feels
every
like
season.
someone that is like me that's never seen a single episode, and someone like walked up to him and said, "Hey, you look single. Do you want to be on like this weird little game show? We put you up in a hotel. We're gonna feed you. You're gonna get free booze, and hey, you might walk out of it married. Does that sound entertaining to you?" And Jimmy, like Miller Lite in hand, watching the Panthers game, he's like, "I don't know. That sounds kind of fun. I could do."
And then like the SUV rolls up the next day, and it was just like, whoa.
Grabs him.
There's a giant net thrown on him.
He's texting his best friend, "Sorry, baby, can't come over tonight and make sweet, sweet love to you. I have to go to this show."
Yeah,
But
texting
yeah,
his best friend who he loves.
God.
Who doesn't love their best friends, right? Come on.
Hey, you know what? Tell the homies you love them as often as possible.
Love may be blind, but solidarity isn't, folks.
It's true. That's honestly how I felt about the show.
I don't know what that means, but
No,
it sounded great.
I liked it. I'm super glad that you guys have this entertainment for yourselves. I'm glad you guys are getting something out of it. It's not for me, but if it's, I do want to say if it's not hurting anyone else, go for broke. But I feel like this is one of those shows that actually like hurts people.
Ray, one final question.
Yeah.
Are you mad at me?
No.
I don't believe you.
No, not mad at all.
Well,
that's what you would say.
We'll
if you were
see
mad
how
at me.
we'll see how
And
he
that
feels
settles it,
when
folks.
post-scripted Love is Unscripted, a Love is Blind rewatch podcast comes around for season 2 at some point in time for whatever season we deem necessary in the rotation of the post-scripted pantheon. And you know where you can stay tuned to find out when that happens?
Where?
Unscriptedgaming.com. That's where you can get links to all of our podcasts, our Unscripted Gaming podcast, our Creed Got Robbed movie rewatch podcast, and obviously Postscripted, our TV show rewatch podcast. We're going to take a little break from this one while we decide what comes next. It won't be Love is Blind, but
That's
tuned.
probably for the
Stay
best.
tuned. You can find us on our socials, Facebook, Unscript Game Podcast. You can find us on X at Unscript_gaming.
You can. I'm gonna transfer all of our socials to Blue Sky.
Yeah, we may have to talk about that. Things are
the
getting
everything.
pretty
It's the
nasty
everything
there.
app. All of the audio versions of our podcast are on
know-
SoundCloud.com/unscripted-gaming. We are on all the major podcatchers. Thank you for listening to Unscripted Gaming. My name is Josh.
My name is Mike, and yeah, we should probably move the account. We could still do the banking on X, okay? But we should probably do the posting over on the Blue Sky, maybe, perhaps.
And I'm Ray, and don't worry, I'll take care of that on the side. It'll be quick.
Godspeed.
Peace.